The following program contains the opinions of the host, guests, and call-in participants. These do not necessarily represent the views of this show's distributors or sponsors. This program may contain obscene, profane, or otherwise objectionable language. Viewer discretion is advised. Hey, coming to your cordless, everybody. It's Thursday night, December 18th, 2025. For a second there, I thought it was the 19th. I don't know. It's 9:01 on the East Coast of the United States, 6:01 on the West Coast, and here where I'm sitting in Northeast Minneapolis, it's 8:01 Central Time. I am Jim Peters. Welcome to another edition of Jim Peters at Night. This is episode number 305, if you're keeping score at home, and you should. It's our last show before the Christmas break. Our guest tonight is Santa. Now, we were supposed to have two guests tonight, but the other one didn't show. I don't know if it's because it's close to the holidays or what the deal was. I was thinking about doing a show on Monday. Was that the 22nd? Because I thought Christmas was Friday, but Christmas is Thursday. I was wrong about that. I thought, no one cares. So we're taking a whole 2 weeks off. I want to apologize for my hair. I haven't been able to take a shower for the last couple of days. They're doing construction in my bathroom. So, when we were on Blog Talk Radio, there's a guy who used to call up all the time and say, your hair is dirty. You should wash it. Yeah, right. It's dirty now. I know. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. So Santa's our guest tonight. We got a little Chimcast afterwards. It's an abbreviated show. Not going to be quite as long as usual. And maybe that's good. I don't know. I have a big announcement to make, relatively speaking, about the program itself. When we come back in January, we're coming back on Monday, January 5th. When we come back for the 4 weeks of January, we're only doing 2 shows a week, Mondays and Thursdays. And that's because I got some work I had to do. And believe it or not, it has to do with this program too. But I got stuff I got to do. And so something has to give because I'm only one man. And so we're only doing for 4 weeks. We're only going to do 2 shows a week. I'm planning on having 2 guests on Thursday, Monday, because it's a long weekend and everything. We'll do a Gymcast and 1 guest, but that's the plan right now. So that's the plan. We got Santa on deck here, and then the Gymcast, and watch this for 12 seconds. It's fun. Joining us from a secret location very near the North Pole, it's your seasonal hero, Santa Claus. Hi, Santa. How you doing?
Hey, Jimmy. How you doing today? It's really a pleasure to talk to you today.
Yes, it's a pleasure, isn't it?
It sure is. I'm pretty busy, and I do want to be able to talk to you and take a little time out of a busy schedule. It's very important to kind of not be so totally focused on something and not get anything else done. So I need the break. It's very handy.
Yeah. So how's things going up there? Are you going to be ready?
Oh, I think so. We're having a couple of complications, but I think we've been able to handle it. I don't know if you've seen the news, Jamie, but there's some ice raids going on right now, and normally it would affect my workers. They're little elves, and but they're from kind of a Norwegian descent, so I think they're okay. But some of them are being picked up, though. And so it's that's not only the we had to kind of change some of their dress codes to help them blend in. So like there's no more bells. You can't wear bells anymore.
No bells. Like that. Okay. No bells.
We're mostly change a lot of Carhartt jackets. So we gotta have those to kind of blend in a little bit. And they're going after the reindeer, Jimmy.
No, really?
not all of them. They only picked up Prancer and Dancer for some reason. They didn't pick up the other ones. But those two, out and gone. They're gone here. I don't know, man. So, but we're doing okay with that. We're trying to work around that. But it's leading to some things. We have some full fields of candy canes left out to rot. So maybe we'll fix those. But they're just rotting away. No one's there to get the candy canes because they're picking up some of the elves.
Well, first of all, Santa, the elves are pretty easy to pick up because they're so small, right? I mean,
oh my gosh. You know, when normal people, it's one person, you can just scoop like 4 or 5 up in your arms. Well, I could have a bigger hand.
That's what I figured. They're like,
you know what? They're a little squirrely. They're kind of squirrely.
Is there any rumor? You said they're mostly Norwegian. Are some of them from other planets? Is that true?
Well, I can't really disclose, where they're from, but there are diversity within the elves, but it's not a lot. We do have some big ones and short ones. I don't know if you see something like Rudolph. We do have the tall ones with the weird rimmed glasses. So they look like elves, but they're mostly blending in. But just a couple of outliers. Otherwise, they're all pretty much the same. It's kind of boring, actually.
Yeah. Oh, I have a hard time believing that. It's like they sing and stuff, don't they? If you squeeze them or what?
Oh, they do. They sing while they work. And that kind of gives them away, too. You just got to follow the songs. And so I tell them, hey, you got to cut back on that singing.
Cut that out.
You got to just quiet down. Maybe some whistling or something. But they're all so very, very cheerful. Even during these kind of times, it's the spirit of Christmas. You can't help it.
Yeah. Hey, Santa, okay, you're talking about your reindeer. How does that exactly work? How do you get around the world, 1,000,000 times, like in 24 hours with a dozen, 12, 14 reindeer? They must be pretty hardy.
Well, there's kind of a mathematical thing to that too, because you have to, there's a lot of places where I don't go. They don't let Santa go. I can't go to China. They don't let me go to China. They don't go, I don't go to Africa a lot of places.
Well,
some of them I do. Missionaries come and
Santa, they won't let you in China because you kind of compete with them, don't you? I mean, you got.
I think so. I do get letters from China. They get out somehow. I guess but I can't go in there. They don't really like that. I have agreements from around the world, but the speed aspect of it is special Santa magic and Christmas magic with the reindeer themselves. And some of the reindeer, they're faster than others, and we gotta have to rotate them in. It's kind of, have you seen? Do you remember the Spuds MacKenzie episode?
Oh yeah.
On Target.
Right.
They're not all the same one. It's kind of like we're on about our 145th dasher right now. We just replace them with new dashers. They don't live forever like I do.
Yeah.
They're not immortal, but they do fly, and they fly very.
Yeah, you've been at this for a long time, haven't you?
Forever, since the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's been quite a haul. I do have to mention though that even though I'm jolly and everything, I did go see a doctor because you people, maybe your audience too, a lot of people like to sit around and maybe not be so active. And I just want to give the warning out to everybody that you want to have that healthy diet. You want to watch your blood pressure. Santa's got very, very high blood pressure. You would be amazed, but it doesn't affect me because I'm immortal.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, all right, you have high blood pressure, but you besides the fact that you're relatively sedentary, you're also under an enormous amount of stress.
Oh yes, and this year's especially important. We have our naughty list has grown so much. It's grown significantly. Everybody being bad these days, and so I have to tell you about a project we had, and we're partnering right now with Palantir to build Santa's naughty list. We're developing a server farm. It's going to be in Wisconsin actually to handle that growth, and it's grown significantly. But this partner with AI and the database, it's going to be able to help us just keep track of everybody a little bit more closely.
So you're building a data center, huh?
We'll see you when you're sleeping, when you're awake, when you're traveling, your medical history, your financial history.
Yeah,
Every
that's right.
stroke you've made, every conversation you've had, it's going to be a full inclusive, but it'll really be able to narrow down who's on that good list and naughty list. There's not a lot of people on that good list. Mostly children. Almost all adults are on the naughty list. I'll just tell you that.
Uh-huh. Where in Wisconsin is it? What city is it close to? Do you know?
Oh, I won't disclose, but it's a funny sounding name. So hopefully that sounds,
like
that narrows it down.
Menominee?
There's not too, it's funny, but I don't want to give it away.
Okay.
Because we have many tourists there, and maybe protesters. Those protesters that don't like being watched, but how else do you determine who's naughty and not?
Yeah, how do you?
I don't know.
I know. Yeah, how's Mrs. Claus doing?
Oh, she's good. Like I said, she was with my health. She's kind of on the health kick, so I'm getting a lot of avocado meals to me and salads. And it's the time of year you need to splurge. Right?
Are you getting a lot of avocado toast? Is that what you're getting, Santa?
9 grain. It's 9 grain. Not even white toast. It's all full in. But I keep telling her, I'm living forever. Why are you doing this? But it's that's how white. They want to look after.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you got a lot of things coming on in the future. Then you're gonna have your own data center, and you're ramping up for the 21st century. Do you ever think, Santa? Do you ever think you'll have like AI robots instead of the elves? Do you ever think you'll do that?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. We actually had a test case with that, with the AI. We started using it to kind of build our the gift list that kids want, but we found out like Sally would get a doll with too many fingers, and it kind of has a little offness to it. We got some tweaks to work out, like a car. It's like the Misfits portion. All those toys that are produced are Misfit toys. We just got to tweak a few things, but we were all working on it. And the elves could use some help with that too, but still need some Santa intervention before we go full on with that.
What do you mean? I'm sorry. What do you mean by Santa intervention?
Somebody to look over it before not having AI develop everything.
Oh yeah. Okay. Right. I understand.
I gotta check the price and check them twice and all that.
Yeah.
Still a lot of work.
You're coming into
can solve all our problems, but I still gotta watch everything right now.
You do. Yeah. Yeah, you're coming into the 21st century, Santa.
Yeah. It's a lot of centuries. Each one, I remember going back when we were all excited about this wheeled car. It was the best thing of its time. But, each century brings a new challenge and new adventure. That's for sure.
Yeah, maybe you need an all electric sleigh. Then you don't have to use a reindeer at all. Just plug it in and charge it up.
Oh yeah, I don't know about that, Jimmy. I'm not sure if we're ready to go all electric. There's some, what do you do with the batteries?
Yeah,
they're gonna run out. You gotta store them somewhere. There's no more waste.
And those
I like the deer.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Deer are natural compost. You know what I mean when they're organic.
Yeah, and everyone knows those electric cars and electric sleighs don't run very well in the cold weather either. So.
Oh my gosh, you are right there. They don't warm up.
No, they don't.
Run. There's a lot of things that they have to do with that before we take those full on. That's for sure.
So the traditional picture of you on the sleigh is the sleigh's open, and it never occurred to this. Don't you have a little trouble with like the wind chill Or have you closed this layoff now, or how's that work?
The funny thing about beards, Jimmy, it's kind of like being an animal. The fur on your face just serves as a windshield protection, and so really, it's only the nose that gets it. But,
You're brilliant. I never thought of that. That's right. That's what that beard is for.
I'm like a big red animal out there, just stalking my present receiving people. Well, maybe not stalking, but it's survival out there. That's how they do it.
Yeah. Yes. Do you have a message before we leave here, Santa, for the little boys and girls in the world before you see them next week?
Oh yeah, Santa's watching you, but be good. Keep doing what your parents say and clean your room. And for the adults, just it's Christmas. Just watch what you eat. Make sure it's moderation, so you don't have Mrs. Claus, feeding you, kiwis and stuff that make you, just take advantage of the holiday season. But watch what you eat.
Santa, it's been a real pleasure talking with you. I really appreciate you calling in. So, I hope you have.
It's always been talking to you. Ho, 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 and you have yourself a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Santa. You too. We'll see you next week, okay? You take care. Thanks to Santa there for calling in from the North Pole. I was just thinking, this is the modern age of the 21st century, and we no longer have to deal with long distance telephone service. Years ago, that call would have been very expensive. Now, nothing. The wonders of the intertube, man. So we're going to have a little abbreviated Gymcast tonight for the holidays before we leave here. I want to. I'm one of my primary wishes for the holidays is that all the social media bullshit just plain stop. I'm just tired of it. Piers Morgan interviewed Candace Owens either last night or the night before. I can't remember about. She's been touting this Charlie Kirk's conspiracy theory crap about how he was shot by the Egyptians or whatever, and people in Turning Point. It's just crap. It's just crap. And Pierce, as is his wont, did an excellent job. I me's even willing to talk to her, and I have to say she is an very good debater. She stood up to him very well, and the conversation was very civil. But she's still talking complete crap. It's just crap. He said you're doing this for money, and she said that's absolutely not the case at all. And I pointed this out a couple nights ago when I was talking about this previously because I don't want to let this go because it really pisses me off about that. I didn't realize this. Candace Owens is independently wealthy. Her husband is a tech entrepreneur. As a couple, they're worth about $150 million, apparently. I didn't know that. I don't think most other people do either. So really, she's not, she doesn't need the money. So the theory then is she's just doing it for her ego. And I'm starting to think that's actually true. I think when she tells Piers Morgan she's not doing it for the money, I think she might be legit. She's doing it just for the feels. Just to say that she has one of her posts about Charlie Kirk's assassination got over 30 million views. One single post. I think it was 37 million. It's mind-boggling. And she talks shit. But the thing is now online, and I don't have to tell you this, the more shit you talk, the more attention you get. This guy named Nick Fuentes, same thing. He's apparently a self-confessed neo-Nazi. It's the same thing. He's talking complete shit. Just complete crap, and he's getting an enormous amount of attention. Because now I don't know if you figured this out. The news media, which I do not consider myself a part of, but right now the news media basically has more space to fill than they have news every day. So especially if you go like the Daily Mail or the Mirror, or especially the UK news sites, because Fleet Street is famous for this. Even when it was print before it was online, the news that they print is largely gossip. And that's even true. I mean, I hate to say that's even true of the Fox News website. It's not largely gossip. They print an enormous amount of gossip. Like, so and so stuns in a string bikini at the beach. You see that all the time. And of course, they're appealing to the old pervy men like me. They are, because they know who their audience is. Well, that's not actually true. The thing is, online you have both women and men, and you'll see a lot of gossip that romantic gossip that kind of appeals to women too. On the actual cable news show on cable television, it's mostly men that watch, and they know that. And geez, I wonder why all those pretty women work for Fox. I wonder how that works. Roger Ailes was a horn dog, and he figured that out. Well, brilliant. No, seriously, and I've talked about this before. So if you're a woman, if you're applying for like a news, reporter position at one of the major cable news networks, so this is the way this works. They're going to get 400 applicants. 200 of those applicants are completely qualified, at least half of them, at least 200 of them. And then they whittle them down. They'll interview like maybe, 20 or 15, 20, something like that. So at the end of the day, you have a whole pool of people that are eminently qualified completely. So how do you make your final choice? You pick the hottest one. It's simple. It's a simple decision. They can't say that because of HR, and they can't. They can't. I don't even know if they can talk about it privately in a committee meeting. I don't know if they can, but they pick the hottest one, and that's how all the hot women end up on TV. And there's it's when you get talking about men, they're pretty much handsome men too. That's a little more nebulous, but still, anyway, so yeah, the thing is, so there's more space to fill for everything. So, you want your string bikini pics, you want your page 3 girls, you want all this stuff. And so here's Candace talking complete utter smack. But the problem is that's not news. That's the problem. She's making this shit up. And she's making up. Now, most people do make it up for money. Because the thing is, yeah, you can make a lot of money with a lot of hits on social media. You can. Maybe she isn't. Maybe she's not doing it for money, but she's still not doing it for any constructive purpose. She just isn't. And I want this to stop. And of course, that's my wish, and I'm not going to get it because it's never going to stop. As long as we have the inner tube, this is going to be true. The more attention you get, the more money you're going to make. That's all there is to it. That's the way capitalist Western civilization is set up. So, and maybe I'm bitching and moaning because I can't get myself to do it. I can't. I'm hoping that you tune into the show, maybe not every night, but often, to get some reasonable scoop about reasonable stuff. And also, and this is true. I talk about the news I report here generally is stuff people don't talk about in the mainstream press, and I'm not even including legacy media. I'm even including new media in that too. We talk about a lot of science stuff here because it interests me, and that dovetails into the UFO stuff, and that interests me. So, but here's another. We also talk a lot about economics because that also interests me, and I have economists on the show, as you know. So this was in Fox News today. Harvard economist, I did not write down his name. I'm terrible. I should have. He says there's no way to spin the latest inflation numbers other than the fact they're great. Guy was on CNN, and CNN's looking for any way to bash Trump, and he said can't do it. Can't do it. The numbers are fantastic. So this is the number supposedly between September and November of this year. In other words, 3 to 1 month ago, inflation in America dropped from 3.4% to 2.7%. And no one was expecting it to go under 3. Nobody. They thought maybe it'd go down a little bit, like to 3.3 or 3.2. It's down to 2.7. And I've been saying this all along. You can't doubt Trump when it comes to economics because it's his wheelhouse. There's few people in America who understand money better than this guy. Now, he took a chance with the tariffs. The tariffs were not guaranteed to work, and actually still aren't. It's looking pretty good. I said this on the show here, about 2-3 months ago. If you were going to ask me as a betting person, I would bet the fact they would work. I would not bet against it. but still, it was like 60-40. I mean, this could and still could go way sideways. It could, but right now it looks like it's working. Because the thing is, what Trump did, when no economist figures in, is that he actually tied the tariffs to negotiations. They're actually negotiating negotiating point. They're actually not tariffs in and of themselves. So the actual, if the countries that negotiated with the administration, the tariffs ended up pretty reasonable. That was the idea. He wanted a negotiating point, and it's brilliant in its simplicity. I will set the bar really high, and then you come talk to us, and we'll get it down. But it's still better than it was before. you know, you can't fault that. You can't. Yeah, the thing. So Trump gave the speech last night, and I should talk about this because we did a show last night at the same time. I was thinking about postponing it, but I thought no. I mean, I'm realistic here. The vast majority of people watch this show on demand and not live, even though we do a live 9 p.m. Eastern Monday through Thursday. What was I going to say? Yeah, so he was on the same time we were, and it was okay. He did pretty much read it off the teleprompter. He didn't wander. He didn't. It was not too long. I mean, so there are a few people, they're the cheerleaders on Hannity, and okay, God bless them. That's kind of what they're there for. And they it wasn't. They said it was a very important speech. It probably was. Most people thought it was one of the better speeches he's ever given, and that's because he stuck to the point. He's, a lot of people think he's still bashing Biden too much, but Biden did leave him an absolute mess. There's no doubt about that. So, but everyone agrees. What's going to happen. Who was it? It wasn't Bessent. One member of the administration said that by the first quarter, in 3 months, we're going to see a substantial improvement in the economy. I say 2 quarters. I say we'll know by Memorial Day whether this is working or not. That's what I think. But yeah, right now it looks like it is. And the really weird thing is, and David Strom, our friend at Hot Air, he's brought this up about the fact that no one expected Trump to be good with foreign policy because he had no experience in that at all. But actually, that seems to be what he's shined at. It's his foreign policy acumen might end up actually usurping his economics expertise, which people find startling. And then a lot of people who don't like Trump. And the thing is, here's the deal: he's a highly flawed person. He can be vile, he can be crude, he can be rude, he can be petty, and he can be vindictive. I admit all that stuff. I don't know a single person who actually supports him who doesn't think that. I mean, this guy is not perfect by any means. It was really interesting. If you watched last night's show, Corinne Clifford was here, and she's a White House reporter. And I said, we were talking about Trump and the Epstein thing, that he knew Epstein, and he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago for shenanigans. And I said to Corinne, I said, well, the thing is, at the end of the day, as much as Democrats hated, he was a perfect gentleman. And she said, no, Jim. She said, I knew women who dated him when he was single. She said, he's not a perfect gentleman, but he is a gentleman. And that's a very good way to put it. He's a flawed human being, but at the end of the day, it's more good than bad. At least that's what I think. So, and I just find the left is basically, they have settled on their status of that, just bash him constantly, which I don't think is going to bode well. I mean, it already didn't bode well in the last election. I mean, now, the thing is, this is amazing. Kamala's talking about running for president again, which I just find absolutely astonishing. I mean, somebody stop her. Well, no, actually, if you're a Republican, you don't want to stop her. She was a terrible candidate. She might have been one of the worst presidential candidates in history. And Trump, bless his heart, one of the reasons he won twice is because he ran against basically substandard candidates. Hillary wasn't as bad as Kamala. Kamala was terrible. So, and right now they don't seem to have anybody in the bullpen ready to with any real cojones to take this up. But at any rate, what happens next year is going to determine what happens at the midterms. And the thing you can't hold that too much to account to him, because the thing is, you're talking about what is it, 530 um, different races, across the United States, and they're all local basically. And so a lot of sometimes who the local candidate is. If you don't like if you're a Republican and you don't like the Republican guy and you like the Democrat girl and you're going to vote for her. Some people just do. So, but there are general trends. And the general trend is if the economy is doing well, especially by October, if not by the summer, um, people, hopefully the Republicans will win. But anyway, that's my 2 bits on that. And yeah, no, the inflation rate is going down. It is the thing. So his speech last night. The real problem is, and I have this problem too. I do the shopping for my family. I go to the grocery store. It's not prices have kind of stopped going up, kind of. The big exception is beef, but that's an outlier here. Beef is on the up and gas is on the down for sure. Beef is on the up because of stuff going on in Argentina and all sorts of stuff in that market. It has absolutely really nothing to do with inflation. But generally, at the supermarkets, stuff has stopped going up and it is not coming down yet. That's the thing. Food is still expensive. And like I said, I know that as well as anybody. I know all the prices to everything. I actually like going shopping. I like to see what people are selling. I like to see. I just the whole commerce thing fascinates me. And you're thinking, well, Jesus, Jim, it's just a grocery store, but I'm kind of a dork. I don't know if you've noticed. So, and then the last thing I got here before we go into some Christmas stuff is the fact that Elon Musk has come out saying that he thinks that AI is not only going to replace human labor, it's going to even replace money or actually make money unnecessary. Now, I've talked about this too myself, although I think his timeline's off. He thinks this is going to happen in 10 to 20 years. That not only is, and this is the difference. It took me a while to figure this out in my own head. People say, well, all labor or all technology has maybe replaced labor, but it's never replaced people per se, in the sense that, okay, and the classic example I've used many times, and Barack Obama used it too, was ATMs and bank tellers. ATMs replace bank tellers, but you still need people to repair the ATMs, and so therefore the number of people employed is roughly the same. They're doing different jobs now, but the number of people involved is roughly the same. AI is going to be the first technology that actually replaces people, actual people, and the way it's going to is literally it's going to be Android AI robots. There's going to be, now let me give you an example. This just happened relatively recently. In Louisiana, there's a plant that makes Coke cans. As a matter of fact, all they make are the red original Coke cans, aluminum Coke cans. That's it. That's all they make. They don't make they don't make Sprite. They don't make a Diet Coke. All they make is regular Coke cans. Okay. This plant, up until a couple of years ago, employed a couple hundred people. It runs 24/7, 3 shifts a day, 8 hours each. The plant never closes. That plant that formerly employed 200 people now employs 6 people. There's 2 people on every shift that are just there to make certain the machines do not break down. That's it. They went from 200 employees to 6. And this is what's going to happen in America, all over the place. But the thing is, now you're going to have a robot that basically will work on demand and let you, you can tell it what you want to do. Like, if Harvey, go over and pick up that pile of pipes over there and move it to the other side of the room, and Harvey will do that. But Harvey's not a person. Yeah, Harvey is a robot that doesn't need a vacation, doesn't need a salary, doesn't need to rest. This and not only that, there's a Chinese company that says they're going to be. You can buy these robots now; they're about $25,000. A Chinese company says this coming year they're going to be selling them for $6,500. And at this point, really, the robots will be, and you're going to have robots making robots, and at that point, the whole game's over. That's the thing. You got a robot factory that's making robots, and the robots are assembling robots. Oh, screw it. It's done. And this is exactly what Elon's talking about in the future, and this is the near future, 10 to 20 years. Virtually all manual labor will be done by robotics. Virtually everything. Humans will not be necessary for those tasks anymore. That's going to replace, and those people are not going to have another job because, like I said, now you'll have robots repairing the robots. So it's not a labor transference. And this is what Musk is talking about. But Musk went one step further, and he says we're also not going to need money anymore because he said everyone will basically be affluent. Now, there's a flaw in his thing, and he says because the robots are basically working instead of us. So, and we might, he talks. He calls it not universal basic income; it's universal high income. He says we're all going to have plenty of money, and money as an exchange mechanism will actually become redundant. That's what he's saying. I predict that's going to happen in 1 to 200 years. And I've said this before. It comes down to the replicant machine. The replicator they used on Star Trek will be a real thing. When we can actually assemble, build a teacup from basically a 3D atomic replicator. At that point, and you can it'll just use atom parts. You can feed it dirt. You can feed this machine dirt, and it can make anything. At that point, the game is up, and we will all. There will be no wealth redistribution in the United States at all. There won't. But we're 1 to 200 years away from that because the thing is that takes out scarcity. Capitalism is based on the concept of relative scarcity. And so if you don't have relative scarcity, there's no reason for capitalism. This is why I said socialism is inevitable, but it's hundreds of years away. Hundreds of years away. And for now, the capitalist method is easily the best thing on the planet. It's the best thing we got going. And it's highly flawed, but it's less flawed than any other method. Socialism doesn't work. Communism doesn't work. We found this, it's been proven time and time again, and all the quote unquote democratic socialists in the United States, they want to say, oh, it's never been done right. No, it's never going to work. It has you can do any flavor of it you want. It's not going to work. Because, all right, I just lost my train of thought. Because why is it going to work? Because sooner or later you run out of other people's money. That's why. And it's true. You can't, there's no, capitalism is the only system that actually creates money. So, or creates wealth, or however you want to put it, however you want to term that. So I think that Elon's a little off here, but he's not off on the first part. In 10 to 20 years, there'll be virtually no manual labor will be done by humans in the United States. Maybe not the rest of the world, and that's actually another problem too. We're talking about this immigration issue. We have to come to a realization here. We are importing people, or we did. The Biden administration let in millions of people, the majority of whom are from countries that are 200 to 300 years behind us. And how's that going to work? So I just said this. The thing is, we will have no manual labor in the United States. The rest of the world, they still will probably be doing it. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on because Trump is right about one thing. About half of the countries in the world, he called them shithole countries, and people were offended. But they have shithole governments, especially the ones that aren't capitalistic, because that's the reason they're poor. And and economists and thinking people constantly talk about this, but no one listens. The only wealthy countries on the planet are capitalist countries. That's it. Oh, and China, because they have 1.6 billion people. There's that. So you got that. It's like when I was involved in Web 1.0 in the 1990s, and that failed because basically no one wanted to come to terms with the fact that at that time advertising on the internet didn't work. I can make an argument that it still basically doesn't work, but that's really nuanced. I mean, Google obviously made billions of dollars off of advertising, but that's a very specialist thing. But the only two companies that survived Web 1.0 are Amazon because they sell stuff, and Yahoo because they had so much goddamn traffic. They were by far the largest website on the internet in 2000, and they had so much traffic that they could make a go of it. It's the same with China. Basically, China has so many people that they, even though it's not capitalistic, they have made a go of communism. It still doesn't work well, And not only that, Dao Xiaoping, Xi's predecessor, for a while they were running a real interesting hybrid of communist government and capitalist economy, and that worked startlingly well. That was scary how well it worked, actually. So the basic deal was you could start a business and you could run it, and you didn't have to give any money to the state and the deal was as long as you stayed out of the government's business. That was it. And I mean, they had 80% approval rating from the populace. For about 20, 30 years later, they made a shitload of money. They're still actually riding on the legacy of that, actually. I don't know, it's like they're having economic problems over there, and the problems are bigger than they appear on the surface. And most economists know that. But anyway, getting back to my point, we will. He's right about the labor thing. In 10 to 20 years, there will be no manual labor in America. But the thing about money, that's going to take another 100, 200 years because there'll still be scarcity of resources until you get bite that bullet. You're still going to have to deal with money. You are. So this is our show tonight. I got one more thing I want to tell you. Love your family. I've talked about this before. It is astonishing. Excuse me. It is astonishing how many families in America don't get along. It's usually for the most petty of reasons. Now, I've said this before. If your father raped you, I understand why you don't want to talk to him ever again. I do. That you have a legitimate reason not to deal with family member, but the vast majority of people doesn't even come close to that. It's some stupid reason, like this thing about with the Reiners, man. This is so sad and so painful. They were killed by their son. I mean, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I can sit here and I didn't agree with Rob Reiner's politics, but he was a good man and he did some really good work. And no one deserves to die that way. Nobody. And the fact that your son did it, and while you were sleeping, it's just and for what? What did he accomplish? What did he think he was life gonna be better if your parents are dead, especially if you killed them? Yeah, no, no. So this Christmas, love your family members. I don't know your specific situation. Like I said, it varies and some stuff is really severe, but most of it isn't. And most people don't have a severe situation. Most families don't talk to each other because of completely petty crap. And I'm even including your son is gay or whatever. Oh, get over it. It's like Jesus, really, seriously. It- It's it's not. I hate to say it's not your business. It's his. You know, and that's just just a simple example. Many reasons. Just get over it. Yeah, you don't agree. Yeah, your dad voted for Trump. Yeah, big deal. So what? This is one of the worst things that's come out of liberalism in the last 10 years. And it's mostly driven by Trump. But the fact that there's people, and it's been documented. This is a liberal phenomenon. It has nothing to do with the conservatives. People don't talk to their family members because they voted for Trump. Seriously, just get the fuck over it. It's like, You don't, just because you don't share politics doesn't mean there's all sorts of stuff you can talk about. And besides, you love people. You love your dad. Just tell him. That's my 2 bits. I've said this regularly. It saddens me. There's so many people that don't get along with their relatives for the stupidest of reasons, and your family's all you got, man. It is at the end of the day, you know. And maybe if you're lucky, you have a few good friends, you know. Hopefully, I hope you do. It's astonishing. What I saw, there was a survey that came out just like a month ago or so that said 40% of all American adult men have no close friends. 40%. I hate to say this, go and get some. And you're thinking, well, Jim, that's, for a lot of people, that's hard to do. But here's what you do. You join a social group, join volunteer at the YMCA, join a club at your church. If you don't have a church, go. If don't feel very Christian oriented, doesn't matter because most people who say they're Christians really aren't anyway. I hate to say this, in America, churches are mostly social organizations, but they exist for the common good, and they do, and some of them do good. I'd say most of them. You know, I wouldn't worry about the fact that you don't believe in the resurrection. We're not going to church. I don't- that's if you're at home and have no friends, seriously, it's like the thing about about dating. Where do you meet people? Go outside. They're everywhere. Yeah, hell, even go to a bar. I mean, Christ, you know, sit and drink. Somebody will talk to you. Any rate, it's like don't be lonely. Don't be lonely and don't ignore your family. That's my Christmas message to you. You can't love everybody. You just can't. I mean, I know that's a goal of a lot of people and a utopian goal, but you can't do it. You can't. It's just like I want to love every dog and cat on earth. I can't do it. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I'm not Santa Claus. I'm not. Thanks again for Santa Claus for calling in. Really appreciate it. Now we're off for 2 weeks. We're coming back on Monday, January 5th. And like I announced at the top of the show, started in January only. For the 4 weeks of January, we're only going to do 2 shows a week, Monday and Thursday, because I got some work I got to do. So, yeah, that's what we're doing from Monday alone. February, I figure we'll be back to a 4-night-a-week schedule. So for 1 month, we're only going to do 2. We're only going to do 8 shows in January. So, you guys have a happy holiday. I really appreciate that. I appreciate you watching very much and listening, but mostly watching. Because who are we fooling here? It's a TV show. It's like one of my friends said that. He said I've tried listening both the podcast and the YouTube video, and it said no, you're doing a TV show. Yeah, I am. Yeah. Good night, Uncle Donnie, wherever you are, and good night to you wherever you may be. Happy holidays, folks. We'll see you on January 5th. Take care. Thank you.